So, here we are. It is us. And Danielle is squinting so hard, I don't know why.
We didn't... No
what?
intro music?
No,
Oh my God, we have to give it a
We're sliding in stealth mode.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we'll have the
we're
intro.
here.
We'll have the countdown, but I don't do the countdown right away because there's all the things that boot up, all the things that come together. It's also nice that we're kind of having conversation like this, and people go like, "Ooh, what were they talking about?" Ooh.
And then we're going to cut it off for numbers.
Yep, they're like, "Oh, sorry, we got to stop talking about that now. We can't discuss that anymore because, things. Secrecy.
NDA.
Yeah. We all sign an NDA in this place.
Yep,
exactly.
Yep. What happens in Esports EDU stays in Esports EDU.
Well, if this is going to be us, then let's do the countdown then, shall we? Okay.
Yes.
And here we are. Welcome to your pre-Friday party, your co-hosts with the mosts, your educational therapy session, your, I don't know what else we can call this, your, oh my God, everything's red around me in COVID town kind of experience. Yeah. Welcome into your Esports EDU Thursday night chat. I am one of the co-hosts tonight. My name is James O'Hagan. I am the host of the Academy of Esports podcast and also director of digital and virtual learning for the Racine Unified School District. And hopefully my microphone is not over-modulating as I use my promotion voice. And to my left is...
I'm Carrie, otherwise known as the Chuck Muju. I am the communication specialist for Liminal Esports and Snowbird Studio.
That's it?
I am an ex-middle school teacher.
Reformed. We don't say ex, we say reformed.
Yeah. Reformed middle school teacher. I'm the proud parent of a competitive gamer, and I'm a Twitch streamer. Can I say that? Yeah, I feel like I can say that.
And now successful social media promoter.
Yeah. That is part of what the comm specialist does. Lots of social media. Yes, it's been. Yes.
Well, but let's talk about that after.
Yes.
This person
Danielle in here
introduces herself.
I'm Danielle. I am a middle school teacher in Dallas, and I am part of the Texas Scholastic Esports Federation.
And
she's
what else?
Reformed.
She's non-reformed.
I'm definitely not reformed. I'm in my first year of having a team at my school. I mean,
yeah.
Is there anything else?
Well, and you took a little jaunt over the last weekend down to the far reaches of Texas.
You're brave.
Yes, I did.
Very brave.
Galveston. I mean, Dallas and Galveston. It's not like, Texas is just I can go over to this town over here or this town over here. It's like a flight, isn't that? Or is that a drive, a long drive?
So if I was going to stay for a couple days, I would have driven, but it was, a one-day trip, basically.
Mm.
So
it was an
a flight for that.
Esports conference?
Yeah, so it was supposed to be the first of the Galveston esports events. So it was supposed to be like an esports conference. Hey guys,
everybody shows up.
We have one person who's up way too late and one person who looks like he just woke up.
No, I cannot stand Bluetoothing. I cannot stand jumping into different calls. So.
Well, wait, hold on, just a second. While you wake up, yeah. Danielle.
I'm already up. So I'm just. It's been a day. It's been a day, and so.
But Danielle was telling us all about the Galveston Esports event that was down there, where they had the very prominent photo that you sent of the, I think, women in esports booth area that looked like it was
that was not okay.
cringy with a makeup company logo and stuff. I don't know.
So the event was supposed to be in August, but things happened. And honestly, like, we never thought it would be in person, and so didn't really plan on setting up a booth, right? So Patrick's like, yeah, I'm going. So I flew down there to, be supportive. So he wasn't there by himself. But it was pretty empty. The promoters said that on Friday they sold a bunch of tickets for Saturday, but there wasn't really anybody there the second day either.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. The panels were I'm just want to say the people putting it together, I think did a good job. I think just a confluence of events probably caused this now to go very well.
Yeah.
But I did meet some cool people and, met a couple new teachers in Galveston. But yeah, so there was supposed to be like a girls in gaming area. I don't know what they thought would go there, but it was nothing. There was a sign that said girls area with tables and nothing, and I just thought it was on brand for women in esports.
Wow. And coming to us, we will go all the way over to now that everybody's been rearranged. I put Carrie where she not where she belongs, but where she usually is. I put Carrie in the corner.
Nobody puts Carrie in a corner.
I brought the watermelon. That's all I remember from that stupid movie. All the way over, coming to us live from the early. He's calling to us from the future. It's the 13th over where he is right now, from Israel.
Next day already. I can tell you the election results.
From the future, Gilad Ravid, thank you for being here tonight, this morning.
Thank you very much, James. It's a pleasure to be here. It's not such a pleasure to work at this hour, but my wife is away for the weekend, so I have to make up for some stuff. I'm opening new courses this week. I opened up a new course this week actually for teachers, Teach Like a Gamer, which is fun. It's a lot of things I have talked about this before for teachers and educators, but it's the first time it's an officially accredited course, meaning the teachers that participate are then rewarded in their pay. So that's like kind of a part of an official process. Yeah, it was quite interesting. I can share a slide if you want, if you're interested.
Well, first we got to introduce the Reverend though.
Yeah.
Before we get into that,
I had an interesting week, so I have some stuff to talk about. But yeah, let's go ahead and just introduce Reverend.
Reverend.
I don't even know how I got this name.
Yeah, but it's yours now, and it's just gonna stay.
And it's gonna go all across the country, and I don't even know how that happened. Hey everybody, I'm finally got to get on here today. It's been a long week. I'm Bradford, EdTech on Twitter. I am from Houston, Texas. The coordinator of digital innovation in my district in Aldine. I'm also a NASEF Scholastic Fellow and the Chief Learning Officer for TechSef.
All right.
That's a cool title.
It's a long title. I don't know why he makes me go through all that. I'm like, I'm tired after I finish talking about.
You were tired when you got here. But let's see.
No, it wasn't.
What does Chief Learning Officer do?
Do what?
What does a Chief Learning Officer do?
What does a Chief Learning Officer do? So, Danielle, the Chief Learning Officer. Well, I'm really responsible for the curriculum side of our esports organization for TechSef, getting all that together. What does that look like for their districts that are interested in adding curriculum in Texas? No, we don't have state standards, but hopefully in the future we will have state standards. So what we're doing is we're applying standards such as the theater standards, music standards, ISTE standards, tech app standards.
Oh, I got an update for you.
Are we saying that? Are we saying that live now, or is that private?
No, I found, or me and some other co-conspirators found found the perfect innovative course that like perfectly fits everything that's already exists.
Okay. Oh, cool.
I'm gonna send it to you. Yeah.
Okay, send
Okay.
it to me.
Sorry to interrupt.
And the
No,
rest of
that's
us are
okay.
like, okay.
Sure, we'll
No,
find
It's a
out
big
more
deal
about it
for
later.
anyone in Texas listening.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Well, the big thing in Texas is okay.
Barbecue.
Where's the curriculum?
Football.
Oh my gosh, I drove
Tur-
past a political sign that said
Whataburger.
brisket and ribs 2020. I was like, yes, something I could get behind.
No, yeah. If you walk into any Texas school, they ask, okay, where's the curriculum? Where's the alignment? And so, I'm not saying that no other state does it, but Texas is always big on that stuff. So that's where I come in, because a lot of admin will ask that before they will start with anything. So I kind of help with that alignment with professional development and all that jazz. On top of the job that I do on a daily basis for the district. Yeah, it is, boo, but that's what happens in these virtual and real streets.
I'm gonna meet you in the virtual streets.
Mm-hmm. And in these COVID streets too.
Oh, so Yolad, you said
I absolutely love Texas. Yeah.
you said you had some exciting thing, something you wanted to talk about as far as a course that.
Yeah. So I recently opened a new course for teachers, like a structured one. Like, as I said before, there's as in Israel, as far as professional development, teachers are mandated to undergo 120 hours each year, and they're then rewarded in pay.
I'm trying to think. Wow, that's like
That's
what?
a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
How many hours?
120.
120. I heard that. I heard
But that doesn't mean
120.
120 hours are online. That means 120 hours total. So like
That's still, that's
Yeah,
way
yeah.
more than we.
teachers in Israel, if I remember correctly, last year had over 1 million hour online professional development hours.
Jeez.
Talking about 250,000 teachers. No,
Wow.
sorry,
That's
less. About less than 100K teachers. So this time it's structured and through their. It's such an intricate organization, subcontractors. I'm sure it's the same everywhere in these topics, in professional development. So basically, it's teach like a gamer. It's 10-hour course and 30-hour course. I started the 10-hour course. I'm starting a few rounds of it in different schools actually, which is quite fun. We talk about the difference between about the difference between play, game, and game-based learning, which is very
Sorry, I was just adding that for Angelique in case she was being more of a visual learner this time around.
okay. I'm just surprised. That's all.
She couldn't believe it. She was stunned. I'm saying, did he stutter?
Yeah, I'll share something. Let's see if I can share something. Can I share it?
If you put it into if you hit the share screen button, we can certainly pull it up.
Did I not?
I don't see it. I'll see.
Window app. Yeah, let's share the presentation. So can
Okay.
you see the presentation? Can you see me?
There you are.
Oh,
In
cute.
Hebrew.
I like the graphic. Did you make that?
Yeah, that's me.
I like that.
So this is basically, we talk about the difference between play, game, and learning, and how they combine as a student experience. Basically, well, when we talk about the difference between game and play, we talk about a bit more of a structured approach with the game. It's a bit more agreed upon rules, but it relates to the student experience that we have very short time to work with the teachers. So you have to be very concise. So I can teach the teachers what are game mechanics and the game mechanics, but it'll be better to convey them a playful state of mind in which they can play and improvise within their own classrooms activities. So like I play Path of Exile. Let me share this. Share the screen.
Okay.
So I play Path of Exile, for example, which I pray to the RNG gods that'll give me a magic axe or something. So I can teach the RNG mechanics to teachers, but it's better to have them understand that they are RNG gods themselves every time they ask a question. Okay, that's why first graders, when they ask a question, they're like, "Oh, me." It's a new game. It's exciting. When they get older, like when you ask seniors a question, they don't. But they've done this game before. The reward is not fantastic. So yeah, it was quite lovely, and I love how much enthusiasm it got, because I wasn't expecting. I was just sharing it on Facebook, and it got a lot of traction. People are really drawn to it, which is nice to have to know that there's like a market and a desire to learn to teach better in Israel.
Fantastic. Again, I think some American people are going to be, well, not just American teachers saying, oh my gosh, 120 hours. I mean, as an administrator who always is trying to get training time for teachers as well, even to say like, hey, I need an hour here or an hour here is hard. In fact, I think
there are different tracks. An admin can request 30 hours. Like a lot of the work I do now is from the schools, and like this week I received a magical authorization of some sort.
Did you say a magical authorization?
Yeah, like it was a tough thing to get, but that allows them to allocate the budget for me from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the admins do have some degree of like they have 60 hours, I think, if they want to.
Okay.
Which is important.
Yeah. So yeah, when you said 120 hours, honestly, I'm not shocked, because I think most people are shocked just because of how we do it here. So I'm going to ask this question. So when you say 120 hours where you're at, are your teachers overwhelmed because they have to do that in a year, or is it scaffolded? Is it easily applied, or is there more stuff they have to do on top of that? Because
into the year,
because we can do that here, but then there's other PD on top of that, and then they want to do extra, and then extra, and then extra, and that's the problem here.
And it goes in conflict with the scope and sequence.
Okay, so there are various scales to your question. Let me start with the factory scale. So when I started my way as an instructional designer in the Center of Education Technologies in Israel, my first position was to actually support a lot of these courses, the ongoing courses. So because of strict regimen from the education ministry, it all had to be physical, which was a burden, but then they kind of eased it and realized it's easier this way. So I was in charge of about 2,000 teachers undergoing some sort of online course, which had like physical first or last session, and most of them were online. There are private ones that are more expensive. These ones are subsidized, meaning they're like $10 a course, $20 a course, something like that. So you don't pay a lot. Mm-hmm. Some establishments like universities or stuff like that have courses that are more expensive, but you can also get the reward for that as well. But in order for me, if I want to teach a course right now, if I want to do an esports course right now for teachers, I want to market it. Fantastic! I'll get the 1% of innovators, about 55,000 teachers, about 75,000 teachers in Israel. Okay, cool. But if I get, once you have that authorization, you get a bigger appeal.
Well, and Angelique also chimes in. I would love 120 hours of PD if I got paid for it. That again.
Okay.
I mean, that's always the big thing too with our teachers is, yes, we will do it, but we need to be properly compensated. And again, we should be compensated for our time. I'm not saying we shouldn't. It's just that, you're looking at, I mean, if you break it down, that's 4 weeks of professional development.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Especially if it's mandated. If it's mandated, it should be covered.
Yeah, yeah. But that's like saying, okay, in the summer, your June or your July is completely professional development.
You're getting paid for another month, and you're essentially in school.
Yeah,
And
which again,
I mean,
most
we do
schools
tons
are-
of that anyway. How much professional development do teachers go
Yeah,
through that
but,
we
like,
don't get paid for? We pay out of
yeah, I was
pocket.
gonna say that's it though. Is
Do
your
you
summer
not- do you
PD
not
is
get
often
compensated
like, you're
for
lucky.
I'm sorry.
no, you're
Right.
lucky if you get a stipend for like summer PD, and if you do get a stipend, it tends to be really low. So it's
Yeah.
not anywhere near your
Yeah,
it's,
summers are not
What
you
is
vacation;
that?
don't really get paid.
they're off season. Like, and that's what we need to start
Yeah.
calling it, is like off season, not summer break, because we don't actually stop. The Monday that school lets out, so Friday is the last day. That Monday,
yeah.
almost
Just
every
means they
single
don't have to
teacher's
pay
car is in
you
the parking lot.
like your actual wage for it.
Yeah.
So what's the
Yeah.
incentive for teachers in the West to become better professionals?
Wow, that is an
Master's
excellent-
degrees, the national board certification,
Yeah, but even the master's degree, like
a Twitter
that doesn't
following.
even help you with your pay rate for
Once you have
years.
more master's degrees, what I have a master's degree, but I don't work officially, never with pay, only with contract, because my
So-
teacher pay
Right.
sucks. Okay, sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's stupid that all the years that I've taught teachers are not considered as veterancy towards
Yeah.
my pay, because I was teaching teachers, not students.
Yeah, it's
well, I'll tell you that with our, like, let's put it through an esports lens, right? Ton of people right now think that, hey, because esports is something that's so brand new and my people don't get it, I'll just do it for the love of it.
Yeah.
Love of it's going to take you only so far, folks. I'm sorry to tell you.
Very true.
And as much as you will shoulder that burden as you get into doing your esports work, and be like, oh, I'm going to bootstrap this whole dang thing with whatever consoles or whatever devices we have. Ultimately, you need to get paid for the work that you do. Do not give it away for free. It's the thing that, the thing that on LinkedIn that drives me nuts is the person who wants to pick my brain. Those are the words. I hate those words. I'm sorry. You want to take my 20 years of experience as an educator, my 4 or 5 years, it's actually 5 or 6 years now with esports and education, and you just want me to give it to you. An educator, I will do that for. Building principal, maybe. Superintendent, probably. But business people, heck no. And if they ask me we'll pay you. What's your hourly fee? I usually tell them $300. $300. And if your business is worth it, you can spend $300 for an hour of my time. And we should all have a rate like that. Our rate shouldn't be like $25 for the expertise, for the roles that we have, for the things that we carry. $300. If Angelique's like $300. Angelique, again, you work with a specific group of kids. You have a specific group that a skill set of connecting with kids in ways that companies wish they could bottle up and put into practice. I would say easily for somebody like you, for somebody like Bradford, Danielle, Carrie, all minimum $150 an hour, minimum for every educator should be that. I just say 300 because I almost have that PhD, and when that PhD comes in, oh, guess what? My rates are going up. They're going up.
It's an investment in time too. It's a huge investment. Like, there were times where I wanted to stop, but people thought that I was going to stop. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to stop, because this is something that I'm passionate about and I want to see our kids do. And nobody else is going to do this. And teachers are trying to do this anyway. I was just telling Jarrell this today. The problem that I'm seeing with teachers now is they don't know how to move forward because of the red tape that they have to go through. And I'm trying to do this just push play method of, let me help you with the red tape and help you explain why you can or cannot do the things that you can do, so that you're just able to teach these things to your kids. But I've done all that legwork. I've done all of that stuff for you, so you don't have to worry about it. Now, if you're interested in learning about all that stuff, okay, let's have a conversation. Didn't mean that, like you said, depending on who it is, we can have a conversation. But you're right. We really shouldn't be giving it away if we've been 2+ years into the game with whatever it is. It could be esports. It could be whatever it is that you invested your time in, because it is a lot of work to develop a program.
And I'll tell you,
you can't give it away. You're right.
I'll tell you what too. You know what I'll do? If I get somebody who reaches out to me in that way, I put up the bat signal. I will send out messages and be like, this person is sniffing around the chicken coop. This person's looking for it for free. Do not give it away for free. Why buy the milk when you can get what's the phrase? Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free?
The milk for free. Yeah.
Yeah, right? It is true. And there are some people who are like, "Oh, I just do it because out of the goodness of..." Stop it. Not with educators. Again, educators, totally different story, right? You're an educator, you want to learn more about. Even today, great tweet went out, tagged myself, tagged TechSef. It's like, hey, here's this. It tagged Bradford. It's like, hey, here's this football coach down in Texas wants to learn more about esports. What can we do? And I'm like, boom, boom, boom. Here's TechSef. Everybody. Company though, on the other hand, I'm sorry, you contact me and you don't want to pay my fee. I know who you're going to next, and believe me, I'm telling them, hey, do not give it away for free.
Right.
Don't do it anymore. It makes us all. It diminishes the expertise that we all have.
Yeah.
I will also take a donation to the org or to the school.
Okay. Yeah. Why
I
not?
think the key thing is that not the intellectual property, but the expertise is respected. Because I think sometimes it's just easy to take for granted that as educators, we're kind of just here to disperse information, and that's just what we do. But our time
We're so used to helping people. Yes.
Our expertise is valuable, especially, with esports. This isn't exactly something that we get PD for. Like, this is stuff that we've all taken on our own to learn. Some of us have paid for college courses. We've done a lot of study. We put time into it. Like, this is passion projects for people, and we didn't get here, with thousands of other people who graduated from school and came out with it. Like, there's a lot of time. Use vacation days. Yeah.
I burned all my vacation last year to go speak at conferences. All of it. Hey, I want to go out speak, and I want to be able to speak without having the school district, expectations on top of me. Fine. I want to be out there talk about my podcast. I will, and yes, used vacation days. Yes. Yeah. So
I actually have a lesson learned regarding what you said earlier, which I learned a few months ago, I think, about almost a year ago. So I was contacted by the local YMCA of a certain Bedouin community in Israel. For those who don't know, Bedouin are a tribal society. They live in Israel and also the adjacent Middle Eastern countries. Basically, they're nomads, but they do have some cities in Israel. And this was in one of them, and he contacted me to give him an outline of. I was forwarded to him by his superior to build him an outline of an esports youth at risk gaming club.
In a Bedouin community.
Inside a Bedouin community, they were willing to put up the funds.
Let's preface what a Bedouin community is, because I think it's tribal. Yes.
Can I just show you where it was supposed to be on Google Maps?
Oh yeah, but again, because in my mind, I hear Bedouin community and I think Lawrence of Arabia, and I'm thinking tents in a desert kind of thing.
Yeah.
Nomadic. Mm-hmm. Are we talking nomadic, or are we talking?
So no, it's divided, meaning some live in cities or basically communities, but yes, about 100,000 acres of the Negev desert, 150 I think, is tents and steel houses and like roaming camels, which are fed at night at those parts. So that there's also a Bedouin regiment in the army.
Okay, all right.
There is an It's very political, so I won't get into it. The lesson is
as is the country of Israel. It's very
exactly.
political.
So
So
I can share you where it's supposed to be if you're interested, just so you can get a grasp. But so I knew from the first moment all the red flags you spoke of were there. We didn't, and the
oh
contract
wait, I gotta.
we signed was very loose. Uh, can I?
Yeah, if you put a share, if you need to
I can
share
share it
something.
actually. I can share it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can share my screen.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty much in this area. I think. Oh, I'm not showing. No, am I showing my screen now?
No, I need you to
Nope.
click the share screen button, and then I can drop it
Yeah.
into the thing here.
Welcome to hybrid teaching.
So that's pretty much where it's supposed. That's pretty much the area where it's supposed to be. Okay.
Okay.
All the red flags were there. Okay. Well, all the.
Oh.
So we ended up submitting. Sorry.
You closed out your window, and I think that closed out the whole screen share.
Yeah. So he ended up not paying me. Like I built in the plan, an entire plan which included not only included the technical specs for such a place, a budget, a program outline, everything. And he stiffed me, even though we had an order. It was legal. I can sue him. Okay, I can sue him, but I knew. There's no one to sue. I can go on about money and education and Israeli budget, just from this angle, the whole other angle of the story.
Yeah.
Last, what he said he wanted was an fancy arcade, by the way, like in the 80s. At the end.
I want a fancy arcade.
So last weekend, this was not covered in the news in Israel. Okay. 700,000 shekels worth of internet and computer equipment was stolen from that place. Not that establishment, from that area.
Okay.
Yeah, a day after it arrived.
Oh. Well, then they've been watching Goodfellas. Yeah, the Goodfellas is where the American movie.
Connected. And here's the thing. I actually do know about plans involving esports and that village, and the challenges that those organizations faced were connectivity, and all that equipment was supposed to solve those issues, which is very regretful. So
that's very disappointing.
I'm just talking about red flags and reminding you of the story.
Well,
and this is not covered in the news in Israel. I don't know how it goes there, but this is supposed to be big news in my opinion.
Well, let's transition from the burden that we all share for all the intelligence and knowledge that we all carry in our brains that everybody wants to get at, that we shouldn't give away freely. And let's talk about somebody who did something pretty amazing last week, and she is right here in this chat here. Ms. Carrie Linden.
Hi.
You were gone last week, and I felt very.
Was it weird?
It was weird.
It was weird.
No offense to the people who were here.
Felt abandoned.
Yeah, I felt abandoned. Yeah.
Divorced.
I wasn't here.
Oh, no.
I was asleep, I think.
But Carrie, talk about what happened with you last week.
Yeah, so everybody who follows me on Twitter probably knows about Time Tales. So Snowbright Studio, which is the gaming wing of Liminal Esports, has our coding game that is in production, and our Kickstarter had been running for the last 3 weeks. So to kind of culminate and bring everything together and close it, we decided kind of last minute to do like a big stream event. So yeah, it was a last minute push to get basically 4 days of content creation booked. We streamed 6 hours a day. We brought in lots of different people, awesome people from the community that came in to play games and talk about diversity, inclusion, accessibility, in esports and gaming and education. It was really fantastic. Friday was Bradford and I just dying in Fall Guys and chatting. But yeah, we hit our goal like in the last couple minutes of the Kickstarter, which was fantastic. So we're really excited. So yeah, it's exciting times at Tall Tales. We've got our pilot study that's out right now, so we're getting initial feedback on the pre-alpha build, so we'll know what we need to go in and fix and tweak and adjust, because the game is really early. Like, we had a lot of people come in like, oh, are you streaming Time Tales? We're like, no, you don't understand. Like, we're in pre-alpha. Like, this, we haven't even hit like alpha, like a complete alpha build yet. It's still very rudimentary. We're trying to work out, you know, kind of getting like the initial feedback so we make sure we're moving in the right direction. But yeah, it's really exciting. It's been really cool to be working on it. Super happy that the Kickstarter went through. It's been a lot of work. So yeah, I missed stream last week.
As you were streaming though on your, I mean, we brought everybody over we could. I mean,
everybody said hi. Yeah, it was weird because I didn't stream on my own channel for like a week. I wasn't here. I was on Snowbright's Twitch account, you know, pretty consistently. So it was good. It was exciting times. And like, thank you, because like so many of you guys showed up. So it was awesome.
Yeah, and it goes to show too. I mean, we talk so much about the games and the gameplay, and I know that what you're developing isn't exactly what we would call an esport. I mean, it's not. It's an educational tool. But you know, even tonight, I was doing a podcast interview with Dr. Seth Jenny, and we talked about esports programs at collegiate. Now, I'll make the connection here. I swear I will in just a second. But you know, it's amazing how the esports programming that we're seeing at the collegiate level is really about transference of skills into other things. It's not, yes, it's through the lens of esports, but it is to teach, you know, business marketing through the lens of esports. But that doesn't mean that you are just become a business marketing person who only does esports things. Right. And you know, so like what you're doing is an easily transferable skill that could go into other Kickstarters, other things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what was always really important to me when I was running my gaming program. Is it's all the peripheral stuff. So like, as a communication specialist,
this is important. This is important. I love that. This is just like, I wish Angela could put this together in one message, because
if you really want to see me get trolled, you need to watch Monday's footage of me and my boss playing Oxygen Not Included. Oh my gosh, they had way too much fun. Just, yeah. I'm not good at that game, but I had fun. But anyways, going back to it, like, so what I do as a communication specialist is obviously I handle a lot of the communication aspects of things. So if something needs to get sort of thrown out into the ether, I'm one of the people that throws things out into the ether. But it also means that things like Kickstarter become my baby. So I do a lot of the marketing and outreach, put together like the whole Kickstarter. If you went to the page, that was me. You know, obviously the team helped and helped with editing and fine tuning, and the graphics come from other departments. But yeah, it's a lot of organization. The scheduling for the stream event, that was 100% me. So that's, you know, reaching out to the people that are going to be good for your content, getting in touch with them, scheduling them, figuring out what games everybody's going to play, and then handling the broadcasting. So it's absolutely transferable. You know, you can use it in esports, you can use it in education, you can use it in other careers, especially as we start to see more and more people, you know, utilizing Twitch as a resource. You know, it can be great marketing and outreach, a great way to build community. So yeah, it's all skills that can be turned around and be used elsewhere.
If I'm a little excited, it's because Nico Bazu has popped in, and Nico actually goes by May, is one of my original Scholar gamers from the Racine Unified School District. So very happy to see May pop in. So welcome, May, if you're still here. Very happy to see you. And again, Carrie, it is so wonderful to see not just so Snowbright, but now with the election as it is, that Liminal is hopefully going to have a place in a space to kind of hopefully help with informing the Biden administration about the importance of esports in schools.
Absolutely. I know a lot of you that are connected to Liminal kind of in the peripheral probably heard about when we were doing the Day One project accelerator. So yeah, there's I'm excited about what's potentially coming down the line. I don't know if like some people probably got pinged by us today. We're definitely starting that conversation up again, so it's exciting.
Can you describe Liminal Esports for those of us who don't know or watching?
So, Liminal, we're big and we're complicated.
Yes.
Liminal Esports we're predominantly like a research and development company that focuses on sort of bridging the gaps between gaming, esports, and education, with an emphasis on like diversity, inclusion, and policy making. So, we're very research driven. We're looking to make like big changes, while also making small changes. So we were founded by a small group of people who have a history on Capitol Hill with American policymaking, and so when they left, the passion was still to stay involved and keep that connection, as it impacted gaming and education. Yeah.
And again, I think it's important to note. So let's look at the about here. But when you look at the team here, this is not a team that you would typically find in many esports companies. Incredibly, I just love Carrie with the little bob. It's just, I just stop there for a second. But again, incredibly, we're not just talking about, because a lot of companies will talk about diversity, right? They'll talk about, we're all about diversity. We're all about inclusion. I think I told you all the story about XSET, XSET. And the first instance that I went into their Discord when they launched and they made a big splash in the New York Times about, we're inclusive and all blah, blah. And I go into the Discord and sure enough, man, that memes channel was hot garbage. Now, I think they've cleaned up a lot of their stuff. I think but again, you can't tell sometimes if you have that first impression, right? You only get one chance to make a first impression. My first impression was that hot garbage of a memes channel. I don't care who you bring in. Like as there's what do they call allyship, or signaling, when you like, look, we have 3 Hispanic streamers and 3 black streamers, and we got LGBTQ. That doesn't mean your company is necessarily doing all the right things.
Right.
I mean, but what I know about Liminal, you practice what you preach.
We do.
It's fantastic.
It's something that's really important to all of us, and it makes for some really awesome conversations as different holidays from different faiths are getting celebrated. This election has definitely been a hot topic, because we have a lot of people that are impacted by different policy making that's happened in the last 4 years. It's great. I think for me, it's the most intentionally diverse work site I've ever been in. And everybody is very conscious about how we talk to each other and how we support each other. And when we're looking for, new recruits, it's done very intentionally. We do what we can to make sure that we are getting the word out to populations that wouldn't normally be reached if you were just sort of doing it in traditional methods. So we're trying really hard to make sure that we walk the walk. I mean, because that matters to us.
Yeah, and again, everything is tremendous. Congratulations to you and your group. I think. Well, I'm just a co-host here, even though I feel like I have I do all the moving everybody around, but again, so happy that the time last week that we did not have you here was well spent.
Thank you.
I think what you described about Liminal Esports is absolutely marvelous. Your work is fantastic. And I think especially, talking about Liminal Sports, but especially you, As a communications director, evidently you're very successful because you were successful in achieving your target, which is amazing. I'm glad for it. What I'm wondering from an esports perspective is if you, from someone who just set up a GoFundMe page and is an esports specialist, how would the GoFundMe page fit within, or something like that would fit in like a scholastic program? Could it fit?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of GoFundMe sort of drives get put in place in scholastic settings, at least in the United States, because a lot of our classroom funding is not enough. So you'll find GoFundMe pages for books. You'll find it for social studies.
I know Amazon wish lists. Is it like that? Like, no teachers have Amazon wish
I mean,
lists.
we have a lot. So you've got wish lists, you've got GoFundMe, which are actually crowdfunding campaigns. Kickstarter is different because Kickstarter, you have to produce a product, and it can't be for charity. So you can't be doing something like to raise funds for somebody else. You have to be you're doing it to produce something. So
That's
you know,
a very important distinction for entrepreneurs out there.
It's more it's Kickstarter is more a business or an independent business sort of a platform, where like crowdfunding and a lot of the other sites are more for like angel donors, if that makes sense.
I gotta say, as soon as somebody says, well, go to my GoFundMe, I'm like, ugh. Like, GoFundMe, no offense to anybody who uses it, like, a lot of times...
You have to be careful with them.
Oh my God.
You have to be careful with them. You need to have a really concise campaign. It needs to have a really clear call for action, and you can't just let them run indefinitely. Like, you've got to be able, we're doing this, we need this. And then, you know, I think to have the best luck, you have to be able to show you're going to be self-sufficient afterwards. And you're not going to be constantly doing the GoFundMe. I know there are a lot of teachers who consistently fund their class every year through it. And kudos to them if they can pull it off. But if I'm going to support something, that's not what I'm going to support. You know, I'm going to support somebody that's taking a leap to do something really different. And they need this initial kick just to get going, and then they're going to run with it from there on out. So there's room for it. You know, it's just anytime you do any kind of social media fundraising campaign, you do your research beforehand and get all your ducks lined up.
So I want to say 3 years ago, 3 years ago, we had one of our Herb Cole, who was a former, I think, senator for the state of Wisconsin, incredibly wealthy man, funded every teacher's GoFundMe in the state of Wisconsin 3 years ago, which sounds wonderful. It sounds fantastic until you see teachers getting boxes of iPads shipped to a school district that doesn't support iPads and being told to make them work. Or teachers going out and getting a whole bunch of crappy IKEA furniture, which is basically like putting kindling in your classroom and saying, now set fire to it and watch the building burn down. I mean, GoFundMes are great, but man, some teachers with the stuff that they buy for their classrooms isn't fire rated. Tech departments don't support it, can't support it, won't support it. It was so hard 3 years ago to tell a bunch of teachers, like, great that you have all this money for this stuff. You can't get it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. That's why most districts now, I know mine, you can do those things, but you have to go through the proper channels first. And it still has to go through an approval process. So like if you want an iPad, okay, sure, but it needs to be approved by the tech service people first before you go through the process, because that's all well and good, and we're not saying no that you can't go through it, but if should something happen to it, we can't fix it for you.
We had it where it actually had to be the property of the district. So essentially you were donating it. So like we built 2 gaming PCs for my classroom, and technically they had to be gifted to the district, receive their serial number in order for us to be able to connect them and run anything off of them. And that's the same thing with iPads. It was the same issue with teacher laptops. A lot of us just worked around it because the IT guys were awesome, and I think that was a fight they couldn't necessarily win. A lot of us had our own. If the option is working on a 10-year-old like laptop, we're bringing in one that like works. You're like, I'm going to work off one that works. Thank you.
Well,
one of the things I don't think a lot of teachers realize is that their districts probably have funding for these things, like Education Foundation, PTA grants, and stuff like that. All you have to do is fill out the right form, rather than run a GoFundMe. You can actually get the equipment that you need and have it belong to the district and have everything work.
But if your district leads with stories constantly of, oh, we're in a budget deficit, or you've been told no so many times, it's hard to because that's the other side of it. It is hard to come back and get a yes. I think some teachers would be floored sometimes when they get a yes, a lot of it is, how do you present your problem? How is this going to help your classroom? I would love to give my teachers everything. I'll move budget for the people who I oversee. I'll move budget for them if I have to, but I gotta have a compelling reason as to why.
And it's hard. Like at my old site, I wanted just furniture for the number of students I had that were built for middle school students and not lower elementary school students, because a 6 foot tall individual is sized a lot differently than a first grader, and it was a lot of hoops to get my furniture. It took 8 months of my furniture sitting in the cage out in front of my classroom, because as district material, I legally was not allowed to touch it, nor was the custodian allowed to build any of the furniture. It had to be done by union employees. So it took me almost a year. Like, we got our furniture, I think, the last month of this first school year that I was there. And then after that, it was like, no, I'm not going to ask for anything else, because this was stuff I clearly needed. And just the way the district was set up, you get it, but that doesn't mean you can do anything with it.
Like in Israel, I get the bureaucratic nightmare and everything. It's the same here. But if the chair was in front of you in a locked room, no.
We had a bathroom. We had a bathroom that didn't have a light in it, and they're like, why is there no? They're like, why is there no light? It's been 2 years because it had to be done by the core district employees and not, site.
Sorry, there's some discussion going. So I do want to add to the to this, and I'm not saying this at 7:22 my time to get us into 45 more minutes of conversation.
Oh yeah, you are. What are you saying?
Look, just like with stop it. Just like with GoFundMe's, right? We have to watch who our sponsors are. We have to watch where our grants are coming from. We have to watch what companies want to come in and do business with us, right? And I think I've laid out some pretty clear rules recently, especially around, like, I don't know, a Dr. Disrespect or a Keemstar as being somebody who I'm like, I don't really want to do business with that person, so I don't want to do business with the companies that they may fund or whatever. So, this week, High School Esports League and Generation Esports? I'm drawing a blank. I don't know why. Launched a grant program to build 25 esports labs in schools.
Yep.
25 labs of 25 computers, right? Everything about it is fabulous. Everything. But there is the big but. And for some people, they have no problems with this, and for some people, they will. But that whole thing about the U.S. Army National Guard as a primary sponsor. Again.
It's being advertised everywhere. Like, I'm seeing it everywhere.
Why is that a problem? I'm sorry?
Well, okay, so we don't have compulsory military service in the United States.
Okay.
So that's a big thing.
Here we do, of course.
Yes, right.
3 years.
So military culture, the draft was done away with in the early 70s, and it's all our service is volunteer. So military service is all volunteer, which means there has to be a lot of recruiting that takes place. school grounds, there's actually specific rules written into our Every Child Succeeds Act about what kind of information a military recruiter can get on a student from a school. Parents can opt their kids out from any military contact. And in some communities, especially poor communities, and especially communities of color, there are issues of the military as being seen as like culling kids out of the communities. Like we're gonna build on the backs of the poor, and we're gonna promise them the world, and we're just gonna use them for however. I'm not saying that the grant is bad. Look,
what does it mean from the grant perspective? They're backing it. They're sponsoring.
They're the main sponsor. They're the primary sponsor of the grant. So it is one of these things where, again, oh gosh, it's now 7:25, and I maybe it's something we come back to next week, because I think it's something that is a very deep, long discussion about. I don't want to have the discussion be about the military's place in all this, because I know that people are. I say community to community. You need to look at your stakeholders. You need to look at your groups and decide what is appropriate for your school or for your community.
Yeah.
But again, that could lead us down some very big rabbit holes, and I don't want to do that in the next. I don't want to cut off. So, like I said, maybe this is a teaser for next week.
Come back next week.
Come back next week when we talk about should schools be in the business of getting in with the military? Because you don't see a whole lot of military sponsorship of football stadiums, basketball arenas, programming in school. This is a very different thing that is happening, and I think it needs to be talked out.
I have some very strong opinions that are contrary to yours, shockingly. So
no, I'm saying it's like I said. It's just this needs to be discussed.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see more of it, because I remember 2 years ago talking to National Guard and Coast Guard, and both of them talking about wishing they had better access to students getting out of high school that were gamers, because the skills that they have with controllers is directly relational to all the drones and remote vehicles that are operated within these organizations. And it's much easier to take a high school student who has that muscle memory already built than it is to take an adult and teach them that. Like they're better at controlling the equipment than a lot of us older folk are.
And again, just for the record, because I want to make sure that this is clear, I have had numerous students go into the military, all of them very successful. All of them nobody was killed in action or anything like that, given everything that we've been a part of for the last several years. It's like I said, this isn't a discussion about whether it's appropriate or not. The discussion is more about how do we as educators make sure that when we take this to a school board or we take this to the community, that we aren't going to have it thrown back at us. How do we message that? How do we talk about this? Okay, so that it's not to me coming up here saying no to the military. In fact, I will say this too. I did submit my name and my email address to get access to the grant, because I do want to consider it. Okay, so
you're more thinking of how educators should conduct business. Is that how you're looking at it more?
I think we need to do
outsiders.
I think we need to do a better job of looking at our stakeholders, because a lot of esports starts with us getting excited or a kid coming to us, and it's like a very small thing that all of a sudden now you realize not just IT, not just teachers, not just administration, but school board, community, because everybody is going to, because it's again so new, so fragile, we have to be very transparent and we have to be very careful about how because at any time something can get shut down so fast, much faster than anything else in schools right now. This can get shut down.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So sorry to leave that bomb, but we'll leave this for a deep conversation next week. We'll have promos and
you can make the promo.
Thursday.
All the colors of police.
So, final thoughts, Danielle, for tonight.
I don't have any. I'm too tired.
We'll do a little mindless fun playing some Among Us after this. So, Carrie.
Check in on the people that you know and you care about. Been watching a lot of people on Twitter come undone, and put out some pretty heartfelt cries for help. A lot of people are not okay right now. I feel like I say this a lot, but I'm saying it again. So check in with people because people are not okay.
Gilad.
Final thoughts. First of all, Carrie, again, congratulations.
Thank you.
What I take from the session, what you said before about a successful GoFundMe for a Scholastic Esports program. There was a really nice bit where you broke it down, which was nice. It has to have structure, an attainable goal, an appropriate budget, and I really want to echo what James said before about an educator from a businessman perspective. James, I really think you should clip that, like a few of the rants you made during this session and upload them.
What rants?
No, I'm just joking. The monologue you did before about being business savvy and business wise, more to speak. I think that's a very notable message to share, which I will take on with me.
Well, if you can clip that, because I don't know if I can find it, because again, sometimes when I say these things, I have out-of-body experiences. So
He does.
I just go off.
I'll try to find some time during the week to do it.
All right. And Bradford.
Well, I'm just gonna just tag what I said this morning on the height of the Spider-Man Miles Morales release.
Yes.
I'm wearing the shirt today.
Yeah.
Wait. I can pull up your Twitter thing. Hold up here. I just want to get it. Yeah, hold up. And
Okay, so you're gonna wait. Well, I'm gonna pause and wait.
Yeah, just wait for just 1 second. Okay, here we go. Wait. No.
Yep.
And, okay, now
There we
say
go.
Are there many
Yes.
protagonists in video games? I'm thinking about it now.
Yeah, I just want to piggyback what I said this morning because I got up. Well, my son played it first. I didn't get to play. I didn't play it till early this morning. But you guys, diversity does matter. It's very important, and the fact that this game is out with a lead Black Latino character is amazing. The soundtrack is amazing, and I hope young women, men, boys, girls, whoever's watching, just at least buy or watch this game, just for the fact that there's a lead person of color. In this, take away the comic aspect of it, because this is something that, number one, anybody can pick up and purchase and not worry about anything being derogatory. I haven't played the whole entire thing yet, so I'm assuming it's not derogatory. It's not. But the fact that I see somebody like me that is a lead character in a game gives me chills. The fact that I can wake up in the morning at 6 a.m. and want to play this before going to work is awesome. And that now I can see developers and characters in the game is so important. So diversity and representation does matter. And so, yes, it took years for something like this to happen, even though, there are games like this that have happened in the past, but something big like this is awesome. So just want to say that diversity and representation does matter. And that's even piggybacking off of, I'm going to say, Carrie's success as well. So there's a lot going on in the video game industry. So if you think that you don't matter, look at things like what Carrie is doing and what Insomniac is doing with this game. It is important. So if you feel like you're not being represented, just look at what Carrie's doing and look at what this game is doing right now.
And it's also important in all that too, Bradford, is that when my children rate Spider-Man movies, Into the Spider-Verse is number one.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely.
Awesome.
It was like a revolution in animation, not just story.
Yeah.
And my kids were super pissed when they found out when the next one's coming out. They're like, "What? We gotta wait how long for the second one?"
Wait, there's actually next one?
Animated films.
Yeah, there's gonna be a second one coming out, but I think it's like not until like Christmas 2021, like another year away or something ridiculous like that. They were like mad.
They're a beast to make. like animated feature length animated
For
films.
Star Wars.
But it'll be
how long did
quality,
Toy
though,
Story?
too.
How long did Toy Story take? Like 25 years.
James Cameron is still doing Avatar 5.
Oh, that's right. All right, everybody, that's it. Thank you so much for being on the show
Thanks for having
tonight.
us. Have a
And-
wonderful night.
And everybody, we will be back here next week where I think Danielle's going to beat me up. So,
Nah, I just have a differing opinion about, military investment, and I am like a pacifist through and through, and so that my opinion is kind of shocking.
we're going to, all right.
We got a can of worms to open.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
let's get to it. All right.
I even took notes already, just so I'm prepared.
Ooh.
All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good night
Bye,
or good
guys.
morning.